it looks like the quarterback carousel.
Yeah.
Maybe at least the first horse, the first pony is landing.
Yeah.
If that's a thing that carousels do and ponies do.
Oh, I like it. It's kind of a Simsism. You kind of like combined like three things there and made it work.
It looks like the quarterback carousel.
Yeah.
Maybe at least the first horse, the first pony is landing.
Yeah.
If that's the thing that carousel is doing, ponies do.
Oh, I like it. It's kind of a Simsism. You kind of like combined like three things there and made it work. Oh, yeah, baby. What's up? It's Monday. It's NFL free agency time. It's Chris Sims, Ahmed Fareed. We are live on the NFL YouTube page for NBC. We got news breaking. We got plenty of news that already has broken over the weekend. We certainly are going to hit on all of that and then try to keep up with some of the news that has just dropped or continues to drop live as we go. It's a live show. We will go with the flow on the live show.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. My man's here,
Let's
fresh
do it.
cut, looking, Johnny Spectacular with the perfect hairdo, little tan, manicured beard and mustache. Horrible energy drink to go along with that. Other than that, this is a perfect human being that drinks chemicals. I don't know why.
I'm going with you a little bit. I'm letting the top grow out and keeping the sides short.
Let me know when you want to go really short on the sides and join the real party.
What is that, a 1? That's a 1.
I think it's a 1.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a 1. And yeah, it doesn't make all the women in my life happy all the times, but I like it, and that's what I'm going to do.
So we are live.
We are live.
You kind of like glossed over that a little bit, but
I know.
This is the first time we've ever done it live. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, nothing is different. You're still listening to a recording. So we didn't just wait for you to hit play on your podcast player and go. So it's the same. If you're watching on Peacock, same. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can go to the comment section. You can write us some comments.
Yeah.
We will answer
Got some good stuff
some
there
of them.
already.
Yeah, say hi. So we are living in the moment. The reason we wanted to do this is because we're in free agency right now. The tampering window is officially open.
Yes, it's open. We've seen a lot of action over the last few years during, this little start of the tampering window. Usually it's the teams that had the most money that are, we got a lot of money. We're desperate to turn things around. We're willing to pay more than maybe some of the other teams that are out there to turn things around for our organization. And they are the ones that usually get the deals done this time of the year the quickest, and we've already seen some of that right off the bat, let alone, hey, we had a good weekend of NFL news to go along with it.
Yeah.
So, with the breaking news and then some of the news that we got on the weekend, we'll kind of go back and forth and kind of try to unpack it all as we go along here.
We'll let the comments roll in.
Yeah.
Morgan will peruse through them, pick some of the best ones out there, and we'll read those, and Pete will do the same. But let's hit some of the big news and start with the Eagles, because we knew that they were going to be one of the big stories of this free agency season because they had a lot of free agents.
Yes,
and they were very good last year.
Some big-time players.
Which ones could they get back? Well, they are not getting back their linebacker in TJ Edwards.
Right.
This just out a little while ago. 3-year deal with the Bears is what is being reported here. And TJ Edwards was one of the players. You go, watch out. When free agency opens, he's going to get more money than people think, and he's going to be one of those names where be like, TJ Edwards, I haven't really talked about TJ Edwards or thought about him.
Right.
You like what you saw from TJ Edwards.
Like what he saw. Wish I would have even said it on PFT today because I'm excited to see what the Bears do because of all the money they have and, of course, the moves they made this weekend in the trade, and we'll unpack all of that too. But, yes, TJ Edwards is, one of those guys I think we were talking about along the lines where he's a really good player that gets lost in the shuffle of a bunch of stars on that Eagles football team, right? And he might not have been the most marquee free agent name they had, right? It's, we know Javon Hargrave and Bradbury, right? Slay and a little bit of the requesting the trade, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, it's really unbelievable when you talk about it. Like you said, the Eagles, they're so good, and there's like 4 marquee players we just named that might not be on their team. But Edwards is phenomenal, and he did get lost in the shuffle. And this is the perfect scheme fit. I wish I would have called this because this is where I would have called he would have gone. Again, it's Matt Eberflus, right? A little bit rooted in that Seattle cover 3 system. They like more of the smaller athletic type linebacker. He's a guy that goes around 235, 238, somewhere along there. But is fast sideline to sideline, downhill, good in coverage and space, all of that makes a lot of sense. Matt Eberflus, where'd he come from? The Colts, right? Yeah. Colts had the Shaquille Leonard and that type of guy. That's what they want there. So their offense, they've done a lot of good things with the trade and everything else. It's time to start putting some investment in the defense, and I think that was a smart place to start. You lost Roquan Smith in the trade during the year.
Yeah.
It's an important position for this defensive scheme, and I'm not shocked to see it. What kind of money are we talking? Is it said yet?
I don't think we
out?
know yet. We don't know. That'll trickle in as this pod continues.
I wouldn't be shocked to see like 3 years, maybe $54 million, where he gets like 36, maybe 40 up, guaranteed, and he'll have to earn that last year of the contract, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. But I would expect to see a pretty front-loaded year or two to start the contract, and then if it goes well, hey, he'll see number 3. If not, they'll, do something else.
I want to dive deeper into the Bears, unfortunately, reluctantly. As
the Bears overtaking the North.
They're going to be one of the teams of the offseason.
You're going to have to deal with them. They're back in your life.
Just as long as they win the offseason. They can win the offseason.
It's so perfect, though. You guys are just getting good. There's nobody you hate more than the Bears. Yeah. And the Bears got all these assets to start getting good, too.
Well, this is what I'm going to say, and Eagles fans will join me in this, is that they have a lot of free agents. And anyone who gets away are guys that they let get away. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They know you can't re-sign them all, and you can't keep them all.
Right.
But there's going to be this mantra from maybe Eagles fans, and who knows, maybe it's not wrong, that anyone who leaves the team, the Eagles are okay with that.
Well, to a degree.
They've made the decision.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. I think they know and have a good feel for what's realistic and what they might be able to get done or keep, or, who's going to be a tough one to re-sign. But also, I mean, they're going to be calculated, and as we've talked about, they're like, oh, I was way off on my money. It was way lower than what I thought.
$19.5 million,
so it's
3 years.
Total $19.5. I thought he might get something bigger than that. That's not a crazy number.
Are you his
at all.
agent? Are you acting as his agent?
Not. I'm not. But wait, so the other part of that with the Eagles thing too is, hey, it's all the draft picks they have and the assets they have over the next 2 years. Yeah, they don't have to panic. Sign anybody or give them some crazy contract like that. So I'm not shocked, to see T.J. Edwards go, and we'll see. Maybe 2 out of the 4 guys they keep, but I don't think it's going to be any more than that.
Arch Creep in our YouTube live chat
Arch Creep,
says
I like
Edwards has the highest grade of all linebackers since he took over as a 3-down player season before last. So he, much like you, is all on board. T.J. Edwards. Yeah,
Edwards is is a 3-down linebacker, and he's what you're looking for in the modern day, linebacker. As far as he's not your old school New York Giants, like thumper, huge guy, right? That's not what he is. It's a little more rooted in athleticism, and that's the kind of defense the Bears play. So he's going to be perfect for what they want to do, let alone he's a field general. You can tell he's smart with the way he plays. We talked about the Eagles a lot, right? All the things they did in the secondary and how they changed defenses on motion and shifting formations. Well, he, more times than not, was in control of trying to organize everybody. It wasn't an easy task, but, I think he's perfect for Matt Eberflus.
I do want to get into the Bears at some point.
Yeah.
Ayush Bodigi, on our live chat, says, which teams do you think have the biggest turnarounds from free agency? So, I mean, it seems like the Bears are active both in the trade market and free agency.
Yeah, right.
They might be number 1.
They're the team I would look at to go watch out. I mean, they're, again, offensively, like we said, they're not far off. I mean, when you talk about Claypool, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney when he comes back, the offensive line, hey, they could open up some holes in the running game. Yeah, they need a little help here, and this is, I think McGlinchey's even on the radar here for the Bears, and people are expecting something to happen there, which I wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
That makes sense. Again, another guy where they can probably overpay him from what he's probably going to get on the market, and he'd be happy to go there. But, the Bears are a team that I would go – the way they've set things up here could turn it around at least the fastest.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you add a player like, it's Fields and his electric ability and what he's got around it. And off of that, Ahmed, to what you're saying too, I'm a big fan of Eberflus. I am. I really like what they do on the defensive side of the ball. I know I call it the Seattle scheme. It's rooted in that. But just like a good West Coast offensive coordinator, he's put his own spin on things and does some different things along with that. And creative, has it all. And, the Bears would be the team that I'd say, you better watch out for a quicker turnaround than maybe people think.
All right, let's go through some quick hitters here and some thunder round here. We're going to talk about these players. We will come back and talk about them again if it warrants. So this pod's going to be, there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. We're just going to hit stuff.
Just go.
Important
That's
stuff in the moment.
Good.
Jason Kelce coming back to the Eagles for his 13th season. He tweeted about it. Howie Roseman is hyped about Jason Kelce's return, so I think we have a couple elements here. Here's the tweet from Kelce. I've put much thought into whether it makes sense to play another season. After talking it over with my wife and many other friends and family, I have decided to return for another year. Thank you to all my supporters and detractors for fueling killing me. I ain't effing done yet. So we edited him.
Nobody detracts from him. What is he talking about?
And then Howie is celebrating with, what is that? Is that like straight tequila?
They're doing tequila.
Whoa.
Yeah, Woe was right. Now, Howie better watch out because Jason Kelce can certainly consume a lot more tequila than he can and not be wobbly.
Oh, no, and Howie's trying to open the other bottle. He should have just had Jason do that.
Wow.
Wow, two shots.
There's, let's see if I can get this right. I mean, I know they have a free agent guard, right, Pete, off the top of my head. Isaac Seumalo, he's free. So where I see this going for Kelce, and, of course, we're talking about Jason Kelce. This is we don't say this a lot. This is a Hall of Fame center.
Yeah.
All right. It's awesome he's coming back. Now, they drafted a center in the second round out of Nebraska last year, if you remember, right? He's kind of sitting in the wings. So I would expect what happens here off of that, kind of like what they did with Landon Dickerson, who was also a center at Alabama. They'll keep Kelce at center, of course.
Yeah.
Landon Dickerson's one guard. I would bet you, what's his name? Jernin? I can't think of his damn name. It'll come up to my head in a second here. Second round pick out of Nebraska last year for the Eagles. He'll go to right guard, I would bet you, which will make Isaac Seumalo maybe, replaceable from that standpoint where they're not going to overpay him. It's going to have to be the right price. I certainly could see that kind of being the future for the Eagles O-line there.
This one kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
The Broncos.
Yeah.
According to reports, are signing former Raiders quarterback Jarrett Stidham to a 2-year deal. Now, he was a guy that, Josh McDaniels very well.
Yeah.
It seemed like Josh really liked Jarrett Stidham, and that was the reason they benched Derek Carr the last couple weeks of the regular season to see what they had in Jarrett Stidham, and he was pretty good.
Well,
played okay.
It might be the shocking signing so far that I've seen here. The one that made my eyes pop the most was that one you just explained. One, the Raiders don't have a quarterback on the roster now. They got nobody. Jarrett Stidham wasn't on the roster either, but I think they were expecting to get him back. Hey, if we draft a young raw quarterback or something like that, Stidham could hold it down for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be excited. I was way off on my TJ Edwards proclamation for the contract, all right?
You get a second chance.
I get him to get a second chance, a second swing here, where I bet you they signed him for big backup money.
What would that be?
I'm going to guess closer to I'm going to say 8 to 10 million maybe, somewhere in that range, 7. I would think it's something substantial for him to leave a comfort zone and a spot where he goes, wait, I know this coach likes me.
Yeah.
They've been invested in me. That's pretty amazing, and I'm not shocked to see Sean Payton do it either. I'm not. Again, he's protecting himself. He's seen that guy. He knows how to work a system. Stidham's better than people realize. Mm-hmm. And if Russell gets hurt or doesn't play well, he's not going to leverage the farm all on one guy. Always had good backups with the New Orleans Saints. Go check it out. Backups would come in and play for New Orleans and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not quite be like Drew Brees, but it wouldn't be far off it. Another thing they did, what was the other thing I said they would do to start free agency?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Well, no,
what an asshole.
Give me
you
a
don't
second
listen to
here.
every word I say?
Well, if this wasn't live, we would edit it in. But,
okay.
Not my the cloak of secrecy is gone.
When Sean Payton got the job, one of the things I was constantly saying, I will be shocked that the first move we don't see them make is get a big offensive lineman. That's where they're going to go. It's a small quarterback in Russell Wilson. He watches the rush too much. The first thing you do to make him feel confident is, hey, don't worry about this. I got this worked out up here. Don't worry. Coaches, O-line coach, we got you blocked. Listen to what I'm saying in coverages. That'll be part of the rebuilding of his confidence, right?
Yep.
You remember now?
Protect him first.
They protect him first.
Make him feel like, okay, I don't need to scramble around and look for the escape plan.
Exactly.
Right away.
Right. And then as we know with small quarterbacks, a lot of times they have hard time seeing over the middle.
Sure.
Well, you got big guards and a big center like Drew Brees did in New Orleans, and makes it easier because it keeps people away. It gives them some room to see.
Yeah.
So I was not shocked. Big Ben Powers from the Baltimore Ravens. And
4-year deal.
Then they only get gigantic linemen in Baltimore. But Sean Payton's that way too. He's from the Bill Parcells School of Coaching. So I wasn't shocked to see that move go down.
2 years, $10 million. Is that what I'm hearing on Jarrett Stidham?
Okay.
Pete, 2 years, $10 million.
I said 7, so I'm high so far.
Daniel Sauter goes Sims 0 for 2 so far. But you're on the player's side here. You've always been on the player's side, right?
I am really
more.
actually surprised Edwards didn't get more than that in the market, on the open market. I was definitely a little high on the Jarrett Stidham thing, to the point where
close. Though.
I want to sit here and go, damn. I mean, they didn't want to give him 2 years, $5 million, and with the Raiders, or maybe he just said, you know what, I want to try something new and go somewhere else. I don't know, but that's a good signing by the Denver Broncos, and I'm sure the Raiders are disappointed by that.
Well, maybe the Raiders are working on some other things because Roy Crosby goes, Raiders need 2 quarterbacks now, and there is a report out there that the Texans and the Raiders are both going to pursue quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the Texans, I could see them maybe wanting a guy just in case, hey, we draft a quarterback, we don't have to rely on him to come in and play and, hit the ground running right away. The Raiders, in lieu of what we saw with that Panthers trade, are now in the same spot the Panthers were.
Yeah.
They're kind of in no man's land. You could be sitting there and going, no, you're not going to get a quarterback at pick number 7. You might not, or at least not one of your top 3 choices, and maybe even top 4. So that's where it's risky. Garoppolo, there's common ground there. That group was all in New England when they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo, so they know him. He runs the system. And, as we're sitting here piecing this together, as you just said, there's a part of me that thinks Jarrett Stidham signs with the Broncos because he's going, what? We're going to sign Jimmy Garoppolo to be the starter? Right? Like, screw that. Like, I could see him maybe be disappointed in that, but it makes sense. And if I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, it's a no freaking brainer. I almost said the F word on our first time on the YouTube page. I'm a little too comfortable in podcast mode here.
Yeah.
But like if you're a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Who do you got to work with at the Texans right now, right?
Yeah.
Why would you want to go there? If you're trying to set yourself up for a big payday or, established, I want to be a starter somewhere, the Raiders are certainly the spot for that. Are you kidding me? You know McDaniels is going to get the offensive line straight. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Waller. You got Renfro. Oh, yeah, and you got Devontae Adams. I mean, that's a no-brainer as compared to, okay, wait, I can go to the Texans, sign there. They might draft a quarterback, and now I'll be in that same position I was when they drafted Trey Lance in San Francisco to where they just wait for me to mess up so they can put him in or something. So I would certainly think if the contracts are somewhat equal there, the Raiders would have a big advantage.
And the Raiders, if you're Josh McDaniels, you want that quarterback that just runs your offense, right? Although that is what Kyle Shanahan also wants.
Yeah.
And he wants to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. So who knows? Maybe it's not quite what you think you're getting if you're Josh McDaniels, but yeah, it seems like it would work if it worked in San Francisco. If it worked in San Francisco with the weapons they had, which are very good, they're also good in Las Vegas, and it should offensively work. Defensively is where they gotta
they got some work to do.
Figure some things out there. All right, we go down the breaking news list here. Some of the reports out there. We talked about the quarterback situation. We talked a little bit about the Broncos and Ben Powers going over there on a 4-year deal. There's also a report out there with the Broncos that they have had trade talks around their wide receivers, Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler.
I mean, those are big names, but I think I can understand Sean Payton he's trying to build the team and get assets into the way he envisions it. Sutton has not looked the same ever since he hurt his ACL. There were some moments last year.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy's certainly been up and down. KJ Hamler would scare the crap out of me because it's a lot of injuries so far, and there was injuries in college. So I think he's looking at that probably going, wait, and some of these guys, Jerry Jeudy's probably going, wait, I want to be paid maybe after a good year. He's looking at it going, I don't know if I want those headaches. I'd rather get my kind of guys in here. I'm not shocked to see that. I think right now he's more worried about acquiring assets and the personnel and people that he sees in his vision, along with GM George Payton. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that, and maybe there's some guys out there where he feels like if they can acquire some assets, that maybe they can, get somebody they want and trade, or free up some money, free agency. He's thinking long term as well as this short term fix here.
An area of strength perhaps for the Broncos that they'll get some future assets from.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Breaking news. We need the sound. The San Francisco 49ers have signed former Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave.
Whoa, are you kidding me? So they went Javon Hargrave. Wow.
Live on the pod.
Wow. You talk about holy crap, Batman on a defensive line right there. That's unbelievable. I mean, it's definitely the shocker. We don't know any money yet, right? I mean, I guess not.
Oh, let's do it again. Should we do it again?
I'm scared to. I'm burnt. You burned me.
I do know the money. I do know the money.
You know it already?
Yeah, we got it. This is from Ian Rappaport.
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear it.
4-year, $84 million deal.
4-year, $84 million year. So 21 a year makes sense. You know, I'd be interested to hear, you know, how much of that is backloaded or whatever else. But
yeah, you never know. You take it with a grain of salt, right? On some of these longer-term deals, especially.
The other thing, I'm pulling up for the 49ers free agents here. Excuse me if I seem like I'm bumbling and fumbling and all over myself.
$40 million guaranteed. By the way,
$40 million guaranteed. Wow. So I mean, that's hard for me to believe that he won't be there, you know, for probably 3 years when it's all said and done. You know, there's probably more to that and a practical guarantee of really probably getting close up there to $60 million. But I'm just thinking about them, that D-line. I mean, him, Javon Kinlaw, they're going to pay Bosa some point this offseason. Okay? And now you got Hargrave to go with Eric Armstead. Right? I mean, that to me is unbelievable when you really break it down and what you got working there. Mm-hmm. And it actually is making me think here as far as, you know, how are they gonna play this? I'm guessing they're gonna go Kinlaw and Hargrave inside and bump Eric Armstead outside, right? So he has the ability to do that. It's not going to be a big problem. But wow, does that give them some size group? And you know, the crazy thing about Hargrave is, I think this system will fit him. You know, he can do some two gapping, but for his size is extremely, extremely athletic. And then, yeah, his ability to really is his pass rush ability to me is the most impressive thing. You would think of the way he looks, you'd go, oh, he'd be a great run stopper. He's a good run stopper.
Yeah. He's
a better interior pass rusher. And that was already one of the best pass rushers in football. So watch out.
All right, easy come, easy go,
and now,
though, for the 49ers.
Gone, right? I mean, McGlinchey's gone.
Yeah, he's
no
gone.
doubt. There's no way they can pay both.
Let's hear the
breaking news.
No, the Broncos.
Oh,
the Broncos are signing former 49ers right tackle Mike McGlinchey.
I told you that this is what Denver was going to do. I knew it. I just, you know, Sean Payton, like a Shanahan or a McDaniel, I have a pretty good feel for, just because I've watched them so closely over the years and know so many people in their coaching tree. And I just, you know, they have some things, or there's some tendencies as far as how they operate, right? Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But damn. So they get now McGlinchey and Ben Powers. Wow, see? So there you go. They're going to be balanced. They're taking pressure off Russell already. He's going to feel protected. They're going to run the ball. But, yeah, Sean Payton, for all his pass game, 5,000 yards, you know, people forget how much he believes in up front and how big those teams were in New Orleans, like we've discussed in the past.
So who loses out there? Bears, you said, we're trying to build their offensive line a little bit. Bengals seems to be a topic of conversation every year now. Who kind of lost out for those two guys?
Yeah.
Yet to be determined, right? There's still some offensive linemen that can go off the board.
Definitely, that's right. That's right. And that's, you know, McGlinchey was, I think, clearly like the premier tackle in free agency, right? You know, so now it's, who's the next guys after that? Yeah. The Orlando Brown Juniors of the world, right? Where he wants to play left tackle, so you don't want him to, he doesn't want to play right tackle. But, yeah, we're getting into that, which I think is one of the more interesting things out there. But, yeah, they lost their chance at their premier right tackle in this free agency right here. That's for sure. And now, you know, where they move from there, that's a good question. Who's the next guy up on, you know, the list for possible tackle? That's where, you know, hey, now there's going to be a little bit of a drop. There's guys like Isaiah Wynn out there, right, from the New England Patriots. Orlando Brown, I said that, Pete, but I was like, you know, was Orlando Brown, is he going to want to play right tackle? Maybe they move him to left and figure something out. They could do either way, but, you know, what's he pricing himself at? I'm still shocked that Orlando Brown has not got re-signed by the Kansas City Chiefs, and that hasn't worked itself out. So, But yeah, I would still expect we hear the Bears with some sort of O-line move here in the next 24 hours or somewhere in that range.
There's a report out there of a player requesting a trade. One of the better running backs, maybe the best dual threat running back, pass catching out of the backfield. Austin Ekeler requesting permission to seek a trade from the Chargers.
Not like, I mean, shocking, but I think when you kind of unpack it a little bit, I don't know if it's that shocking.
They've fed him so much. I mean, he is like a huge part of their offense.
I know. I think the offense is going to go a little different direction.
Oh.
He's on the last year of his deal, right? So he's talking to them right now and wants a new deal. They have probably realized, or both sides have realized, whoa, we're far apart, right? This is usually how these things kind of work, all right? And then you go into, now it's this is not the West Coast, Joe Lombardi offense. You got Kellen Moore in town. I think Kellen Moore wants to run a little bit more traditional running back, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard between the tackles a little bit, and then set it up to throw deep passes down the field with Justin Herbert. And Ekeler, I think, I would worry about how much longer does he have to be a every down workhorse between the tackles type runner to, like you're saying, it's a lot of touches and carries for a smaller guy, right?
Haven't you seen him squat, though?
I know. He's a guy that I don't see the end. Like, I wouldn't sit here and go, oh, well, yeah, it's the last year or two. I mean, the way he's kept himself in shape, the way he looked there, he still looks really good. But I would think it's more of a philosophy / hey, it's the running back position. Teams don't want to overpay for that. They paid a lot of players in free agency last year, and he probably thinks he's worth more than that, and he'll be finding a new home.
Let's talk a little Falcons right here, because they've been active the last couple days, last few hours here. Report out there, the Patriots are trading tight end Jonnu Smith to the Falcons. Your reaction to that?
I like that, and then they had the other move too, right? The guard. Chris Lindstrom.
Yes. So I'll list all of them.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump you there. I was just going to kind of encompass it all.
Who's running this show? Who's running this ship? You are, but yes, they've done a few things here. So that right guard Chris Lindstrom, who was on the all under talked about team, and you mentioned him as well in your all pro voting, agreed to a 5-year extension with the Falcons. So they saw firsthand the same things that you saw from a distance.
I think he got the highest. He's the highest paid guard in football, right? So that's a pretty big deal. At least I thought I saw that.
And a report out there that the Falcons have also signed former Saints defensive tackle David Onyemata to a 3-year deal, $35 million, $24.5 guaranteed.
Yeah, okay. I mean, again, I think we know the mantra of what the Atlanta Falcons are too, right? I mean, again, this is a little bit along the Sean Payton conversation that we're talking about. Also the other thing about them, Lindstrom by far for me, okay, is the best guard in football. He was my first team All-Pro. I'm not shocked to see that. And then again, they're a team that it all starts with the Mike Vrabel, we're going to run the football, between the tackles, play smash mouth, control the clock.
And that's what he does best.
That's what he does best. He is a road grader. Jonnu Smith also fits that mold from this standpoint, right? And I would imagine this is the vision they're seeing here, where, one, he has history with Jonnu Smith, Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith was in Tennessee. That's where Jonnu came from and signed with the New England Patriots as a free agent.
I thought you were going to say cousins because of their last name.
Brothers from another. but so I would envision them wanting to play Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, smash mouth, Algier up the middle. We're going to pound the ball. Hey, we got a big receiver in Drake London on the outside. Oh, you're going to bring all these people in to stop the run. We're a great running team with our 2 tight ends and Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. And just like we talk about with other teams that create mismatches. Oh, now you got all your base defense, big linebackers. We're going to stop the run. Oh, now we're spread out. Now it's 2 athletic tight ends split out against your slow-ass linebackers who can't cover anybody. And I would envision that's what they want to do. It's what he did a little bit when he was with the Tennessee Titans. So that makes total sense from that standpoint. And then one of the things we've talked about, again, the defensive side of the ball, they want to be big. We know that. Onyemata is a great run-stopping defensive tackle who has a little versatility as far as shade nose, 3 technique, 3, 4, 5 technique, and kind of do it all there, right? So that makes sense. I think those are all within what they want to do. Now, to me, the Falcons, the next thing is just like they, splash player. I know they re-signed Carter, their big outside linebacker, who they draft. Was with the Giants, and Lorenzo Carter, right? Are they going to get a big-time pass rusher to go along with the group here at some point? So that's where I'm interested to see this go. And then even their new D coordinator, right? Dean Pease moved on in Atlanta. They got the Ryan Nielsen, who was with Onyemata in New Orleans, so that helps him set his culture, right? Mm-hmm. So all of that makes sense, I think, for what they're doing, not only as a team, but with their new hire, Ryan Nielsen.
All right, let's move on. We can come back to the Falcons later on here. We have more on the Patriots. We talked about them trading away their tight end Smith for a 7th-round pick. Cornerback Jonathan Jones re-signing with the Patriots on a 2-year deal, $20 million guaranteed, $13 million guaranteed, $20 million overall.
Oh, say those ones to me again there. Let me hear those words. I don't know if I saw those numbers yet.
Jonathan Jones, 2-year deal, $20 million, 13 guaranteed.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, listen, he's really a premier nickel corner.
Yeah. Took a little bit of a step back last year.
He had to play outside. They moved him outside because of injuries, and that's not exactly his strong point there. But, teams that match up in the secondary, match up according to what the other receiving core is, right? A lot of teams in football go, wait, no, these are our 3 corners, and we play them no matter what team we are.
Yeah.
New England does not do that. They're a little bit more like, no, we have 5 or 6 corners, and depending on your 3 receivers that you play this week, we match them up accordingly. We think our corners match up with certain skill sets of your receivers, and we're going to make that a problem for you, right? So Jones is, an awesome slot with some outside versatility. Does a lot of good things for them. I'm not shocked to see that re-signing there.
Breaking news from my Detroit Lions.
Whoa.
You ready? They are signing former Steelers corner Cam Sutton, 3-year deal.
Wow, 3-year deal.
$33 million, $22.5 guaranteed.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought he might get a little bit more money than that. I'm low on my expectations here a little bit. Sutton, good player. One of the more underrated.
Why'd you just say good? You mean great player.
Well, really good player. What I meant by is much better player than I think the public realizes. That's where. He's not a household name. He's not like some of the stars we always talk about. But, damn, you break him down on what he's done in Pittsburgh the last few years. Pittsburgh has broken away a little bit from the mold of being a zone team all the time. They've relied on him. Your damn Lions, if there's a damn position they need on their football team, it starts right there. So good for them. And, I think he's one of he's smart value, right? Not a huge number. He's really, in my mind, a better player than that number right there. He is. But still, nonetheless, 22 guaranteed, 3-year deal. He might see every penny of that, but a good signing for your Aaron Glenn and Detroit Lions and the kneecap biters.
Now, you've talked about this before in building a team and how you do it. A lot of teams want to do it through the draft, right?
Yep.
Those players, their salaries are depressed for the first few years of their career.
Yeah.
But the draft comes after free agency. So here you have the Lions with a top 6 pick. The guy from Oregon should be out there for him. A lot of people think they could take him. They still could, right?
Definitely. This
You
doesn't
load
affect
up.
that.
It doesn't affect that.
This is not like you've spent the farm on this is the island corner and we're going to base this. This to me is like,
need more than one.
We're going to get another A-plus guy, and this is our A-minus guy right here in Cam Sutton, right? That's kind of how I look at it. It makes sense. I don't think it has anything to do with them at number 6. And if they, start to get a hold of their board, if they go, wait, corner is definitely one of the top things for us to take here, I don't think that contract will – you guys need more than one guy in the secondary, as we know. So, and, your third pick for the draft from Ohio State, Okudah has not, he's been solid. He certainly went in the right direction last year, but certainly hasn't lived up to the number 3 pick in the draft.
Daniel is chiming in on the chat. This is a great live show.
Hey,
so we like it so
Daniel.
far.
We're trying to hit it all, man. We're trying to do it all, and I think we're doing a good job other than me guessing contracts, which I'm not going to be doing anymore. It's like a quarterback who throws his 3rd interception. You're just like, I'm going to be conservative from here on out. And just take the 10-yard completion.
No, we're going to build confidence as the show goes, and at the end we're going to go for a Hail Mary. We'll try to do it one more time before we get done here. More Ravens news. They released Calais Campbell. Not a huge surprise, I guess.
No, not a huge surprise. You're right, and I think his number was pretty substantial. Pete, if you could help me with that. But I think we've gotten to the Calais Campbell. We're again. I don't want to be disrespectful. We're getting towards the end of a career of a guy that's a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. Hall of Fame defensive tackle. I want to make sure everybody realizes that, But I think they're a team that's, trying to get a little younger up front, trying to turn the page a little bit in certain positions. He's done a great job for them. I don't think he's done playing, but, off the top of my head, I can't remember what that one kind of broke as I was walking in. I can't remember his price tag or what he was going to make. And
what was it there, Pete? Save them $7 million.
That makes sense. Yes, that's what I would have expected there. And hey, Calais Campbell, we'll see. Do you think he signs with another team? Or does he call it quits? I could see him if the right team comes along and pays him enough, and they're a real contender,
Super Bowl contender.
Yeah,
one of those
he's yet
teams,
to get that. You know what I mean? He might go one more year.
Detroit
at this.
Lions, something like that. Anthony has sent a message. Could you guys talk a little bit about Ramsey? So the big trade over the weekend, Jalen Ramsey,
right?
Going from the Rams to Miami, LA to Miami.
Yeah,
it was like that's where he wanted to go. Well, of course, everyone wants to go to Miami, but it was just a third-round pick,
right?
And you created a bit of a stir.
Man,
when
I'm getting dragged by players in the NFL, huh?
Oh, did some player?
Darius Slay.
So you just said he's, not one of the top cover corners out in the NFL anymore, but has versatility that down the road he could play some safety. And so it's a pretty good trade for the Miami Dolphins. Good player. Good player to have.
Really good player. I'm trying to say, yes, he's no longer, for my money, a top 5 cover corner in football. Now, let me just make sure I make this clear. Top 5 cover corner is different than still one of the top 5-ish secondary players in football.
Yeah.
Where I would still put him in that category. Listen, what I want to say, first off, Quandre Diggs went totally personal on me. And I don't know. He went totally personal on me. I don't know what the deal was there. But, Darius Slay just said, I sound ridiculous. Really? So the best corner in football is getting traded for a 3rd-round pick? Well, damn, Darius and Diggs, the cornerback market sucks then. You guys need to change the position. The top corner, and you need to call the Rams and go, how dumb are you guys? You traded away the best corner in football for a 3rd-round pick. You know why that happened? Because he's not the best corner in football. No. Okay? Mad respect for Jalen Ramsey, but just because it's mad respect doesn't mean I just lie between my teeth. Okay? Come on. They're ridiculous for that. I want to get on a Twitter beef with them, but it's a no-win situation for me, so I'll leave it alone.
Well, they're not.
But I know. I saw Robinson
argument.
Camby. He was on here going, "You're getting dragged on." Why am I getting dragged for saying a guy that got traded for a 3rd-round pick and is not asking for more money is not? And I said he's just not a top cover corner anymore. Why am I getting dragged? Again, why? That's all I would question there.
I think
challenge flag to those people. I'd love them to come on here and let's talk about it. Darius, Diggs, you around? Come on. I'll give you the number live right here on the NBC YouTube page.
We are live.
We can discuss it.
They can go into the chat if they want to right now. Get in the chat.
Pete, seriously, if you want to tweet at them right now, tell them to get on the chat and talk about it. Let's do it.
Oh, my gosh. Could it happen live on YouTube?
I'd love to.
And here's the funny thing, too, from doing the podcast with you. I think there were times this year you're like, I think Jalen Ramsey has lost. He's lost maybe a couple steps. And as the year went on, you go, man, he still does a lot of things really well.
He's really well. He's great. Do I put him in the category of Jair Alexander and Xavier Howard and Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain right now? No, I don't. He's not the Tyson Campbell for the Jaguars, right? I don't put him quite there. I'm sorry, but damn, if Jalen Ramsey or anybody's listening to me talk about Jalen Ramsey since my day back to Bleacher Report, it's been steady love, one of my favorite people in football. But I'm not just going to sit here and lie through my teeth and go, oh, yeah, great trade, number 1 corner in football. Man, Rams got fleeced, 3rd-round pick for the number 1 corner in football? That doesn't sound right. Come on. You guys don't sound right. You're wrong. Negative ghostwriter, you're wrong. And then Diggs went ultra personal on me about my college career when he was 6 years old. He was obviously a diehard fan of the Texas football team.
You can push some people's buttons, and you're getting very good at pushing Dolphins fans' buttons. So I think that's part of it here too. Is that why does Chris always have to ruin our good days? You weren't trying to ruin their good days. You're just trying to be honest, as you always do on this show.
I like this. Trog Dog said Sims is right. Diggs is smoking what I am smoking. I like it, Trog Dog. Thank you. A little fun. Yeah, and M Sauce is the man. There's just, again, I got bad love there, but yeah, I kind of got dragged through it there a little bit for, I saw it when I was going to bed last night.
You're like, oh no, here we go. And you weren't even trying to.
I really was just trying to give it an
assessment.
I had a lot of people going, man, a third rounder for Jalen Ramsey? I'm shocked that it's that low, or right? I'm surprised that it's only a third rounder.
And you go, well, here's why.
Here's why. Yeah, exactly. That's all I was trying to say.
Right,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully we come back to that once Darius and Quandre enter the chat. Morgan, when that happens, just let us know, all right? And we'll drop everything we're doing and go right to the chat once again. What else we got out here? Rams.
But wait, the other thing, too, with that. It was a great trade for the Dolphins. Great. Yes. And the Rams are trying to rebuild their team, right?
Yes.
So they need to do that.
It helps the Rams a little bit, flexibility for them.
Exactly.
But what does it do for the Dolphins secondary?
The Dolphins are officially in, like, icing in the cake mode, right? Other than really you can go through, and we talked about this a lot during the season, we go through their roster and go, what part of the roster really needs an improvement other than the offensive line maybe needs to get a little better and more mature. They could probably add a player, but it's not like it's so bad that, So, they'll probably add somebody here. But, like, they're in, like, what do you don't even need all these draft picks and all this. You got people all over the board. You got, of course, Christian Wilkins you got to sign, and Raekwon Davis is, a hell of a player. Jalen Phillips, as we've talked about it, to me is already the best pass rusher on their team, and they have Bradley Chubb.
They're stacked.
They're stacked.
They are stacked.
They are a team that you look at and go, wait, it was a Super Bowl roster before, and now it's then some. And then you add that guy into all the things he can do in the secondary, match up with a Travis Kelce in the AFC playoffs, match up with a big receiver on another team. I mean, he's going to be great in that, area. And Vic Fangio on defense, I think, has got, knows how to use those longer type corners.
So just a little context here.
Yeah.
So this was the deal for Ramsey. He was traded from the Rams for the tight end, Hunter Long, and a third-round pick. Now, in 2019, when Ramsey was traded, he was traded for 2 first-round picks and a fourth-round pick. And so that's a little bit more significant of a haul.
Well, why is that? Explain that to me, Ahmed.
He might have been considered.
He might have been the top cover corner in football.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean,
that's at least top 3.
That's what I want to send to those guys and go, wait, you guys. The same guy got traded when he was the top cover corner, and look what he got. And he wanted a new contract, and he got that. He wants no contract. And he got a third-round pick, but you're going to tell me that. So, okay, I'm going to move on. I saw somebody say move on, let it go.
No, you did?
I did. I saw somebody say move on, let it go.
Yeah, it was Jalen Ramsey maybe. It was like, okay,
I don't know.
Did
I just see other breaking news right here?
What? Hold on. No. Are you going with the chat? The chat has been pretty good.
The chat has been pretty good. But I'm not going to say it until you guys say it.
Okay, well, we'll wait. All
right.
We'll confirm. We want 2 people in the chat to confirm. We go with 2 chat sources here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
I'm still amazed about the Orlando Brown left tackle thing.
What amazes you about that?
They traded for him. He's played well.
Yeah, why isn't it done?
Why isn't it done?
Why don't they keep him?
It's got to be, to me, I was shocked he didn't get franchised. So that to me speaks to like he wants an exorbitant amount of money, that he wants to blow the market, the top off the market. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if you saw, like Laramie Tunsil tweeted at Mahomes when Mahomes said this free agency is about to be crazy, and then Tunsil sent something back. So that made me think, wait, is there something going to go down with Laramie Tunsil to the Kansas City Chiefs here and Orlando Brown? They're just going to give up and go, wait, we can't figure out a contract? I don't know. That's where my head is at right now.
Stay tuned. We're going to be live on YouTube for the next 7 hours straight.
We're here till tomorrow.
Until every breaking news. Until Aaron Rodgers makes his decision is what we're going to do. We're going to stay here. He's been saying
we should take some ayahuasca then. We might be here a while.
For 2 months, it's like the headline on the bottom of the screen has been like, not going to take long. Yeah, you're going to find out here pretty soon. I was like, it's been a long time already, Aaron. It's been going
that and Lamar.
So slow.
Do we get Lamar? Does there something that starts to break or happen, or does somebody, climb out of the weeds here that we didn't think was and get into the Lamar conversation?
By the way, I was listening to you and your dad talk on the last time you did the pod because I was doing A-10 basketball. Yeah. 8 games in 2 days. That's significant.
Way to go, Slugger.
Well done, VCU, in the NCAA tournament.
They won it, right? I saw a little of the final.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough out. They beat Dayton in the final.
Right,
They're going to be a tough out in the NCAA tournament. You're Cinderella out there. That's the only information you'll get on the NCAA tournament on this pod right now. But when you were talking about Lamar with your dad, I thought that you talked about it for like 20, 25 minutes or something like that. that was a great conversation, and it kind of gave the details and gave nuance to the whole. Because I think when the news came out that a lot of teams were out on Lamar, people were like, "Well, what's going on?"
People
It's
jump to
collusion.
conclusions, right?
You're like, well,
Collusions
no.
on collusion. I want to be like, what up? Everybody loves Lamar.
Super complicated.
Now nobody wants a
situation.
guaranteed contract for 5 years, $240 million. Nobody.
And to trade 2 first-round picks.
Right.
And to maybe have it all blow up in their face when the Ravens match it and their own quarterback's mad at them for doing that.
Well, exactly. You know, it didn't take collusion to figure that out. They didn't need to call each other and be like, hey, let's band together against the guy who's asking for the craziest contract in the history of football.
Right.
You know, he's asking for a contract that's, you know, more expensive than some of the guys that are better than him at the position. Right? Hey, again, now Deshaun Watson got that contract for unforeseen circumstances. He got a little lucky to a degree because of the situation and the dysfunction of the Browns. But, yeah, you know, I get sick of the Lamar hate online. And for some reason, because I want Lamar to get an agent and get more money, you know, and I'm also being real and, you know, I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to blame everybody else in the world for these problems. People think I don't like Lamar, and that's just not true. You know that. I mean, I'm like the biggest defender of Lamar in the world. Lamar is what I don't understand right now is going on with Lamar, too, is I see this a lot online. Well, we don't want to pay for running backs. Everybody's willing to pay for Jalen Hurts, but they won't pay for Lamar Jackson? You know, well, Lamar Jackson's a gifted thrower of the football. As you heard my dad say, it's an elite arm. He's never been in that offense that's had to rely on just passing game and had the weapons around him. I have no doubt that he can do that if he's put in that position. You know, so, yeah. The Commanders, too, they're another team a little bit like some of these we've talked about where you go, you know, they're not far off. They got a lot of pieces in place. The quarterback is a huge issue. You know, so I'm still one that's like, are they really going to go with Sam Howell to be the guy to start OTAs and make him the starter? So, yeah, they're the team I have my eye on maybe here for the Lamar conversation.
Yeah, the final chapter has not been written on Lamar to some teams out there that may have initially said that they were out. Lil Miss GM in the YouTube live chat says Lamar needs an agent. Will he just get one? And I do think that's part of it here, too, is that say what you want about agents and their role in football, and you may like it, you may not like it, but the fact that this is how the system works with an agent contacting teams, why would you ever believe that trying to go outside of that would make things just run as smoothly, right? It's obviously going to be more difficult when you go outside of the system. Now, maybe eventually that's the way the system works and players can do this more easily, but to be the first guy and to be this high profile and try to do it the same way, of course there's going to be hiccups and roadblocks and things that make it more difficult when you work outside
Well,
the
there's a
system.
reason you see a lot of, I mean, you don't ever see a top-tier quarterback even deal with this stuff because he just goes, wait, this is out of my league. It's not what I do. You know, I know West Right Slot 72Z Bingo you split, but what? The third-year option of a contract that breaks down to what?
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, the smartest quarterbacks in the history of football had agents. The guy he wants to emulate in the contract has an agent that got him that contract. That's what I don't understand. You know, and as we've discussed, some of the, you know, non-apparel deals and all that type of stuff for a guy that's really one of the most famous people in the sport, I think speaks to that too. So I want Lamar to be paid big time. I do. So we'll see where that goes.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Reports out there, the Raiders are close to signing quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo.
There it is. So he's going to the Raiders. That's probably part of the reason Jarrett Stidham signed with the Broncos too. He's probably like, wait, I don't want to do that. Right? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
But why would he want to go
I don't know.
in Denver and with
well,
Russell
maybe
Wilson?
He just wants
He's
a new
the guy.
look. Maybe he looks at it and goes, wait, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that much better than me. I don't know. Maybe he wanted more of a shot from Josh McDaniels. Maybe they made it clear that you're clearly going to be the backup. I don't know. Or it got to the point where they couldn't actually pay him that money because they're going to have to pay Jimmy G a decent amount of money here. You know, Stidham, I think, was a lot more of a realistic thing if they were going to draft the quarterback. Then you could kind of overpay him to be that bridge guy / backup, right? Now, if you're bringing in a guy that's making, I would think he's going to get somewhere 28.
Oh, boy. You're doing it again.
I'm going to say it, 28, maybe close to 30.
A year?
A year. That, that of course, took Stidham's money away. But I understand this. And like we said, the Raiders are in no man's land as far as the draft's concerned. He knows the system, Jimmy Garoppolo. McDaniels was in New England when they drafted him. Their offense is ready right now, and there's not going to be a quarterback that I think they look at as fitting to run that show, at least right away. that's going to be there at pick number 7, so they're going to make their own move and make it happen themselves.
We're finding homes for these quarterbacks, and Carolina's trading up for the 1 spot, so they'll get their quarterback, and Pete goes in my ear, is this one less option for Aaron Rodgers if it doesn't work out with the Jets here? You were pretty clear talking to Mike Florio.
Yeah.
You think it's Jets or nothing?
Retire, yeah, or maybe Green Bay. But, I mean, he's getting the cold shoulder from Green Bay. I mean, they're telling him they don't want him. Yeah. I think it's Jets or retire. I never thought that Rodgers to the Raiders was a real thing. Anybody that's been listening to me over the last few weeks, that's not. I don't think that's Josh McDaniels' cup of tea. I don't think that's where Aaron Rodgers wants to go. Wait, I got to go to the AFC West and deal with that crew over there, and it's a totally new system. I mean, totally new, right? There'll be a way different learning curve. Brady went from New England to Tampa, and they weren't that dissimilar in the system and the language. It's in that same school of thinking, Bruce Arians and what he did. This is totally different, like you've heard me say before. So, plus it's the Raiders, I think, are looking for something a little bit more sustainable here. I would think now that they got Jimmy Garoppolo, they're hoping he can be the guy for at least 2-3 years, right? Aaron Rodgers, you do that, and you go, well, crap. He retired next year. We're back in the boat. We needed a quarterback, and we traded away a pick and gave $60 million to him and got some dead money because we did that. All those type of things that I think are, not in the formula for the Raiders.
Trog Dog has typed in the live chat, Jimmy will get over 30. So it's you versus Trog Dog.
I like Trog Dog. He's my man here so far. But he might be right. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked to see it. I think he falls into the category of like what we saw with Derek Carr. Right in that 32, 31, 33, somewhere right in there.
The Packers do want one player back on their team. They are re-signing their kick returner, Keisean Nixon, to a 1-year deal. They want him more than Aaron Rodgers. Right?
He's an elite kick returner. I mean, he's the best kick returner in the game.
I think so, right?
He is. He definitely is.
And you never know. They might have an elite plan, and they got guys all around him too, but he seems to have a knack for figuring it out.
I think he's got some secondary value too. Oh. So I think there's a little bit of like double whammy there where like, hey, you could possibly start for us. If not, you're a really good backup, plus you're an elite returner. So no-brainer for them, and good for Rich Bisaccia, who's one of the better special teams coaches out there. He gets a guy like that.
Nixon was an all-pro, according to Chris Sims.
He was. Wasn't he an all-pro in total? I thought he may have been in total.
He had to have been the guy, right?
I would have thought he's the guy, kick returner. I can't remember kick returner off the top of my head.
Right? I think it was him.
Yeah.
Our chat will confirm that for us. Some news out there, the Panthers on the defensive line, they're signing former Saints tackle Shy Tuttle, 3-year deal, $19.5 million.
Oof. Shy's big guy, big boy. But they need a little size. You heard us talk. We talked about this during the year. They're athletic as hell up front. There is not enough size on the defense there. They needed some run stuffers. And Shy is, out of the University of Tennessee, if I remember correctly. It's been 4 or 5 years. But a true shade nose tackle guy, right? So now, hey, it's a big 3rd and 1 or it's 2nd and 2. You can have him at nose, and now Derek Brown can maybe play on the edge of the guard or somewhere else. He doesn't always have to be in that position. So that's where I think it's a good deal for them. There's something, again, athletic front 7 they got there in Carolina. Size was an issue, so I can totally understand that.
All right, so they've lost some draft capital, have the Panthers. We'll stick with them here for a second because we already talked about the trade earlier, getting up to that number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Bears got the 2 firsts, the 2 seconds. They got DJ Moore, who you love. I mean, just your thoughts on that deal, first of all. I know it's like the Panthers, give them credit. They're being aggressive right here, but were they a little too aggressive?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm going to say I really thought it was, I'm sorry, YouTube, shit or get off the pot time, right? How many years are we going to go here with let's find the 1-year quarterback? let's find another one-year quarterback.
Yeah, he's Frank
Bridgewater,
Reich's
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Yeah. We'll just keep throwing darts at a board.
It's like Frank Reich, wherever he's been.
Right?
It's wherever he's been. Like the Indianapolis Colts have been doing that.
It's like they both merged. It's like Tepper, the owner's like, damn, I've been doing this the last few years. Frank Reich's like, I've been doing this. Hey, let's screw this. Let's make a move and get a guy.
I have a hard time remembering which team Frank Reich even currently coaches because I'm like, they're both so similar in that respect.
So it's
and they're both blue, as Pete says.
Yeah, seriously. but yeah, I think, all in all, I think it was the proper move.
Yeah.
Again, a team that got a lot of core pieces and young guys that you like, right? We saw them make their little run there at the end of the year. It's like they're in a spot at 9 where I, by all due accounts, think Frank Reich wants to run a quarterback with a guy that can drop back and throw the ball and run it like Jim Kelly did when he was the backup quarterback there, or when he took the job with the Colts with Andrew Luck. He wants that kind of guy. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of offense he wants to run. It's what he's did in Philadelphia too. So that, to me, was in danger of being picked number 9. Maybe Anthony Richardson could be there at number 9, but Anthony Richardson is raw. You're going to have to run a little bit of a different offense at first. That to me doesn't scream. Like Anthony Richardson's not the guy you trade up to number 1. He's got incredible talent, some big time, but he's a little more of a project.
So you think it's clear?
I think
who the guy is.
Not only clear, I told you, I think it'll become very clear as we go throughout. Again, these coaches are watching what I'm watching. They're just, I have a hard time thinking that you're going to come to a conclusion that CJ Stroud is not the best quarterback in the draft. I know I'm coming out with my rankings next week, right? I didn't really want to say this, but this is not like Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. I got to think, okay, I'll give Joe Burrow the edge just by a little. This is not like, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I'll go back and forth a little. It's really close. Or how I saw Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. And I'm not saying I'm right about any of them. This is one where it's not nitpicky at all. CJ Stroud is clearly the best quarterback in this draft. Mm-hmm. It is not close. There is a gap. And I got to think Frank Reich's school of quarterbacking he's come from, that they got to early lean on that, let alone they can just do their own homework and they don't have to worry about anything. But I think he's the most Frank Reich guy to me. And I think for the teams that are looking for the drop-back passing quarterback, he is going to be clearly the number 1 prospect on the board. So, I will sit here right now and kiss your feet if CJ Stroud's
not
the number 1 pick.
No, don't do this again. No one wants to see it. Maybe live. Maybe if we do it live next time. BetMGM, of course, has the odds on this. Our BetMGM parlay preview, number 1 overall pick odds. Before and after the Panthers acquired that number 1 pick on our group chat after that trade, I go, well, get those bets in for CJ Stroud, number 1. I think they took it off the board immediately after that trade, but they're back on the board right now, and there you have it. CJ Stroud, February 20th, was plus 400 to be the number 1 pick.
Now it's like not even close.
Now he is minus 300, the overwhelming favorite.
Listen, again, I'm not going to tell you the rest of my rankings and all of that, and it's interesting.
Just give us the top 5.
But yeah, right, just that. But as anybody here at NBC could tell you, after I watched just a little, I went to the combine telling producer Matt Casey and Pete Dimmel, I was like, when I had just kind of gone through some little bit of film, just let me get a feel for these guys, I had a hard time going, I have a hard time thinking it's not going to be CJ Stroud. Mm-hmm. Then diving in last week, official draft dive-in games, certain situations, like I said, I don't think it's close. I don't. Now, the trade itself, there's only one part. It was, I think, a necessary thing. And let's turn the page and go to the future for the Carolina Panthers. And you got a lot of positive things. The O-line turned the corner. We're decent at running back. Tight end, okay. Receiver is solid. Defense has got a lot of the pieces. You're seeing Shy Tuttle. Now they got another run stopper in there. E.J. Evero wants that. New D coordinator there. But yeah, the only part of the trade that I questioned at all was the DJ Moore part that you talked about. Because I was like, damn, wait, they're going to trade? They're going to get the number 1 pick to get the quarterback and then trade the quarterback's new best friend away?
Yep.
So that stinks a little bit. But from what I'm hearing, they had, I think a trade that was very comparable on the table from another team. And the DJ Moore thing kind of put it over the top. So That was the right move with the Carolina Panthers and the right move for the Chicago Bears. Bears, we know, all this money, assets now, and get a slam dunk sure thing to support your franchise quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And now you got that guy with Claypool and Darnell Mooney when he comes back healthy and Cole Kmet. And we saw an offensive line that can run the ball a little bit and all that, to where they can almost go, wait, we need an offensive lineman, and then we can just worry about everything else on defense, and we'll be okay. And that's where they kind of are. So I really liked it for both sides. I thought it was a necessity for both sides, and good job by the Bears. Great job by the Panthers, because I think it was that time that you got to make a move instead of being stuck in this middle-of-the-pack era forever.
The action never stops at BetMGM. You can sign up now using the bonus code SIMS. Your first wager risk-free up to $1,000.
So say you bet $100 on Will Levis to be the number 1 overall pick. If you win, you'll get $1,400. But if you lose, you still get $100 worth of free bets.
Simply download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com. Enter the bonus code SIMS to make your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. Gould Mohammed.
Oh, let's finish that one last thing there with that our BetMGM and the odds though. I've got to think, as we're getting out of the combine, teams are getting into, all right, let's start putting some film on a little bit. I just got to think it's going to continue to trend this way. Again, I'm not trying to.
Oh, you think the odds are as good as they're going to be right now?
No, I think they might get even better, or
worse, right?
Exactly.
So if you want to bet CJ Stroud, do it now.
I think it's just going to become more of a slam dunk. That would be my call as of right now. Again, I'm not done with the whole quarterback class, but I'm done with the top guys. And like I said, CJ Stroud it's not changing.
Yeah.
It's not close. He's just clearly my number 1 quarterback.
Pete, do we have to do that read now again, too? Because Chris extended the whole BetMGM parlay preview. Oh, no, we're good. All right. Gould Muhammad was in the live YouTube chat, says, with the Panthers looking to trade Matt Corral, where would you want him to land? So that is part of the news out there, that the Panthers are looking to trade the quarterback they took last year, the quarterback that you were very high in until you saw him play in the preseason.
He worried me in the preseason.
And then he worried you.
Yeah.
I guess now they're looking to send him elsewhere.
Yeah. Be interesting. He's got, as you know, what I think is high-end talent with his arm and his foot quickness. Who is it? Will Anderson, right? Junior at the Alabama deep pass rusher?
Exactly.
He said Corral was the best player he played against in college football.
Yeah, they couldn't get him down.
Couldn't get over how quick he was. He made him miss, all that, But yeah, I haven't thought about this one a whole lot. I'm not surprised, especially because it's like that's what we talk about all the time. Hey, we want our number 1 guy to come in here and feel like he's the man. We don't want to have a guy here that, some people like and has some talent to kind of like for guys to go, whoa, well, Corral's throwing the ball just as good as our number 1 pick, all that, right? Mm-hmm. So, hey, it's not like he's not going to be brought anywhere to be like, oh, we're going to bring him the backup, right? He's going to kind of be a 2/3 because he didn't get a chance to develop or do anything last year.
Yeah.
Right? But, a team like, I'll go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Or just go, hey, let's have him sit in the background a little bit. Be the third stringer. We'll get a veteran backup this year for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But then if Mahomes gets, then a year goes by, that backup moves on. Maybe Corral can be our backup, right? That's the kind of situation I'm trying to say, where it's like, yeah, he wants to go. You want to go to a place where maybe Buffalo. It's Josh Allen, Case Keenum, and Matt Corral. So he can develop, and maybe he could be the backup one day. And, maybe something more than that as he develops and continues to get better.
He had Liz Frank, that injury last year. I guess Frank Wright didn't even know if he's going to be ready for OTAs this year, so still recovering from that. So that's why he missed all of last year. But that'll be something interesting to track. We do have numbers on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
Raiders are giving Jimmy
Garoppolo. Am I close?
3-year, $67.5 million deal, including $34 million in guaranteed money. So I would almost feel like it's probably more like a 1-year, $34 million deal.
Yeah, well, let's see. So it was 3 years, 67
and a half.
67 and
34 guaranteed.
Wow. All right. So it's 22 and change a year.
Yeah.
34. So to me, it's going to be a 2-year deal, really.
You think it's going to be a 2-year deal?
I would think so. They might be able to get out of it year 1, but probably have to eat some dead money a little bit.
Got it.
But it won't be like the worst thing. But yeah, I would guess that, ultimately, they're thinking 2-year deal. It gives them some flexibility too. Again, if he doesn't play great and they go, okay, he's not our future either, they can go back to next year's draft and go, wait, and hey, we'll get a quarterback, and then we still got Jimmy G here if we need to make him the bridge guy or whatever else. So, again, the options, I'm sure, were a little limited. And as we discussed, I mean, if it was down to the Texans and the Raiders, I would take a few $1 million less to be the quarterback of the Raiders than quarterback the Texans, right? Just because, again, you want to be in a spot that you can be successful to, strike it up for another contract with the Raiders or somebody else if, things go a different direction.
Some more news out there. Report the Dolphins are signing former Jets quarterback Mike White to a 2-year deal.
Smart.
So, you like that?
I do like that for them a lot. I do. I've had some funny moments of trying to say, you can't back up Mr. Glass with Mr. Glass, right? And that was always a little peculiar to me. The Teddy Bridgewater injury history was the backup to Tua with an injury history, right?
mean, Mike White was hurt last year, too.
I know. It's yes, you're
but
exactly
who
right.
hasn't been in the NFL?
He took some big hits. I love Mike White as a backup quarterback, though. He's one of the better backup quarterbacks in all of football. And that's a smart move by them. And, backup quarterback with some starting quarterback, potential. I don't know if he could ever be a superstar, but could he be a solid starting quarterback of football? Yes. I think it makes a lot of sense. That's a smart signing by the Miami Dolphins. And no, again, the same thing. Smart by him, too, because if you do get a chance to get in there, oh, my gosh, I get to throw to this crew and this offense, and, I can look good and maybe be a starter somewhere someday.
Texans reportedly signing former Bills quarterback, former every team quarterback Case Keenum to a 2-year deal. Case Keenum's claim to fame is that every year he plays, he will be just hanging on to the end of the Chris Sims top 40 quarterback rankings.
He's been with the Texans before.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
this is the second time around, I believe.
It's his second tour of duty with every team in the NFL.
That is unreal. But, again, I think he kind of fits the mold of okay, if we draft Bryce Young at 2, we got Case Keenum, and we don't have to have Bryce feel like he's got to start from us right away, right?
Yep.
Case is, again, another guy. You're right. You're making fun of me, but you're right.
I'm not making fun of you.
No,
I think you've seen what other teams clearly have seen from. He can come in and be good backup.
He does not need a ton of reps. He's played enough to feel comfortable. He's one of the best backups in football, and really. Yeah, a poor man's Jimmy Garoppolo for this situation right here, and it makes sense that they pivot to him right after they, don't get the deal done with Jimmy G.
Staying with the Texans, they are signing, according to reports, former Patriots defensive end Chase Winovich.
Wow, okay.
A Michigan guy.
Yeah. Well, Patriots liked him when he came out in the draft, drafted him, traded him to Cleveland, right? Nick Caserio was there in New England when they drafted him. Chase has got a little bit of that 3-4 outside linebacker, defensive end versatility, right? So I think he does fit that scheme. I get that. Good signing by them. I'm sure it wasn't big money, just a guy that gives them depth and some versatility in the roster.
Arch Creep also on that breaking news with Chase Winovich in the live chat. This is good. We got mini Schefters here.
Yeah.
In the chat, which
I
is good.
I like it, and I'm sure they're paying attention to Twitter and everything like that, so where they're quick on it.
Pete, we should just do every show live, and then we don't have to work as much, and we just it's just Pete. We just get we can be aggregators, right? We just aggregate the best comments over here, and there's a lot of them good in the chat right now. Let's move over to the Bills working on their offensive line. Trying to protect Josh Allen a little bit more.
What do they got going on? I didn't even see this.
Signing former Cowboys guard Connor McGovern to a 3-year deal.
All right, yeah, it's needed. I mean, we talk about this a lot. They got to change their attitude up front there in Buffalo. I think they did that with Aaron Kromer as the offensive line coach. Now they got to start getting some players that fit his mentality a little bit. So, yeah, McGovern, good athlete. Good run blocker there.
Not to be mistaken with fellow free agent Jet center Connor McGovern.
Not same guy.
We have 2 Connor McGoverns in the NFL.
He's it's 2
Connor McGoverns.
Let's see. Wait. This one
Connor. You pronounce it differently.
You're funny. Which he. I mean, I'm getting confused. I'm trying to think about which guy from what college is it? What college did he go to?
Nobody knows.
No, he's Connor McGovern. Texas. No, Penn State Connor McGovern.
Which one is?
Yes, that's what it is.
The guard or the center?
The guy that just got signed
is the Penn State version of the Connor McGovern.
Yes, exactly right.
I don't think the NFL knows about this.
I think we got that right.
Multiple Connor McGoverns playing offensive line in the NFL right now.
Yeah, but that's good. They need that. We know that. They got to start taking a little off Josh Allen's plate, get a little bit of a run game there going. They're going to some value signings. And I see some other value offensive line signings here.
Let's do it. So we got the Commanders signing former Chiefs right tackle Andrew Wiley and former Giants guard Nick Gates.
Nick Gates, one of the unbelievable comebacks after that horrible injury
versus
2 years ago versus Washington, right?
Yeah.
But got back in the lineup this year, played well. Andrew Wiley. Again, this is a team that's got some money spent in some other places that needs to spend some money on some other things. So they weren't going to go out and spend huge money on offensive linemen. But damn, Andrew Wiley, yeah, good. Now you got another starting lineman who's got to get some versatility there, tackle or guard. I think ideally tackle, but that's another team that we talked about through the year. They got to get better in that department. They got better at the end of the year. Early on, it was really bad, but I think this gives them a little more talent and versatility up front.
You want to guess the money? It was a 3-year deal.
For Wiley?
For Wiley.
I mean,
get you back on track.
Okay, let's see. This is a different kind of one. It's not going to be top market kind of money. So I'm going to say it's like 3 years, 30-something million, maybe?
$24 million.
Okay, so we got $8 million a year. I thought maybe you would have got 10.
Take it down.
I got to take it down. I got to take it down to $2 million a year in just about every one, except for T.J. Edwards. I got to take it down like $7 million a year.
You might like T.J. Edwards just more than most people.
Apparently,
which is okay.
I definitely did.
And we'll see. That might be. We could be talking 3 years from now, and be like, wow, what a great value signing for the Bears. Hopefully, we're not. But.
The when you break down Washington, one. Hey, we know they're paying Terry McLaurin, right? Curtis Samuel's getting a decent chunk.
Yeah.
You got Jonathan Allen, you're paying big money. Daron Payne, which was a great signing by them and getting that done, taking the franchise tag off. Daron Payne's one of the best defensive tackles in football. So you keep that duo together. But they also got to think about, Chase Young and Montez Sweat. I am one that, Chase Young's the number 2 pick of the draft. You've heard me say, I think Montez Sweat's a better pure pass rusher than Chase Young.
Oh, he was an under-talked-about player.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. So I got to think they're going to try to put their best foot forward to maybe make something happen with him. So they're trying not to break the bank on offensive linemen. And then the other thing I'll add on to that whole conversation with Washington is if they're trying to pay Lamar Jackson, they can't pay some free agent right tackle, $20-something million a year right now because they got to save some of that money for Lamar.
One of the stories out there that I hope gets a resolution here soon, because we've been talking about it too much for nothing to happen for this long, and that is with Odell Beckham. I mean, it was at the end of last year, it was like, where's he going to go? Cowboys, heating up, blah, blah, blah. And then just nothing happened. Now there are reports that he's in talks with several teams following a workout. I think Mike was reporting he's looking somewhere around $20 million a year, which seems a little high for a guy who hasn't produced much on the field over the last couple of years. But I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I feel like we almost have to put this story in the bucket of don't talk about again until it happens.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. I hear you.
Ever?
No, as far as it's not going to happen as far as we're not going to not talk about it.
Maybe I'm not going to talk about it.
You could try. His name gets infused into the news no matter what.
He's a fun. I love him. I hope he's in the NFL. I just want it to happen.
No, I hear you. And I'm with you in your thought, and I think your base thought's correct. Your instincts are leading you the right direction there. 2 out of 3 years ACL injury, 31+ years old, right? $20 million a year is not going to happen. We talked about this last year. Remember during the season, I was kind of saying in December when people were flirting with him, going, I'm hearing from people around the league that Odell wants like $20 million a year. There's just no way that's going to happen, right? So. With this, I envision a deal of half that for 1 year, and you try to go to the best team and put yourself in a spot to have a big year to then get another big deal, or maybe it's a 2 or 3 year deal where the numbers to our eyes might look sexy and good and like how Odell wants to look at them, but they're really it's really a 1 year, $10 million deal where if he hits a bunch of incentives, he can get $20 million, and then if the team keeps him for year 2 and 3, they give him $20 million or $18 million a year, whatever like that. That's to me how I see it. But for me to sit here, and as much as I love Odell Beckham Jr., like I don't see anybody going, yeah, Odell, we're going to sign you 3 years, $60 million, boom, it's over, no problem, got you, no problem. Haven't seen you play in a year. I don't think it's going to happen. It sucks. I mean, because when he's healthy, he's truly worth that, but. Yeah, I think that's still a scary thing for conservative NFL coaches.
Brian Milan just goes, trust in Veach with all capital letters because we have more breaking news.
Is it the tackle position?
It is the tackle position.
Oh, my gosh.
The Chiefs are signing former Jaguars tackle Jawaan Taylor to a 4-year deal. The reported money, $80 million, $60 million guaranteed.
Whoa, mofos. Whoa. Hey, digits 098043. Thanks for the compliment. I like that. That's amazing.
So what does this mean?
First
of all, what do you think?
This means a little what I said.
Yes.
Orlando Brown had priced himself out of the market.
Okay.
Where they must have got to a number. They were like,
it's not going to work.
We'll pay you $20 million a year, but we can't pay you $25 a year. I'm guessing that's somewhere where he wanted.
Yeah.
Right? The top of the O-line tackle market right now, I think, is at 22 a year, 23. It sounds like he was trying to bust that off. I like Jawaan Taylor. I do. He had a really good year last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, I think Kansas City's one of those teams that knows how to coach up O-linemen. He's big. He's a lot like Orlando Brown in a lot of ways, right? And they're going to get him for a little less money. I'm not going to say he's as good as Orlando Brown, but it's not far off. So if they're saving 5 a year, 4 a year, 20 over a lifetime of a contract, that makes sense. I get that. And this is the sense I got. It stinks. I really like Orlando Brown, and I like that. But this is a very good plan B to sign Jawaan Taylor.
So either Orlando Brown is going to get what he wants,
right,
or a team out there is going to get a deal.
Yeah, he's either going to get what he wants or he's going to get now off the Chiefs and settle for a few million less than what he was asking for, and we'll see, but that's a risky move. And, the Chiefs are one of those teams, if you got good money in the bank, it's one of those teams where I'd go, I might take, 20 a year over 23 a year just to stay with the Chiefs and be one of the top teams in football and collect playoff checks every year and all of that. But obviously they couldn't figure it out, and I'll be interested to see where he goes, Orlando. And I like that signing though by Jawaan Taylor.
And they might not be done, the Chiefs, on the offensive line. This is the much discussed rumored deal in our chat, but we're professionals here. We don't go with it until we have confirmation. And we still don't really have confirmation, but we're going to go with it anyway. Reports out there the Chiefs are looking into a potential trade for Texans left tackle Laramie Tunsil.
I mean, I got to think that ends this unless they're going to go Jawaan Taylor right tackle and then try to get Laramie Tunsil left tackle. Is that what they're going to try to do?
So Taylor was a right tackle this year, says Pete in my ear.
Oh, yeah. I've got him mixed up. You're right.
That was the other Jawaan Taylor.
I'm thinking of Cam Robinson. No, he's right. He's right. So that makes sense. That's interesting. That is. So they lose Wiley. They got him at right tackle. And, okay, so that doesn't – I want to take back what I said. It doesn't cancel out Orlando Brown yet, but I think it's a trouble. And I would think it's trouble.
You think it makes it less likely of happening?
Yeah, less likely. I'm not going to say it's definitive, but I can't imagine them going, hey, Jawaan Taylor, $20 million a year. Hey, Orlando Brown, more than $20 million a year at left tackle. I don't know. So I'm guessing that means he's gone. But damn, if they trade for Laramie Tunsil, he's $22 million a year. Plus, what are you going to trade to get him to do that? That's one where I got to see that one to believe it as we stand here right now.
Yeah, see if Patrick Mahomes is okay taking a pay cut, right?
Yeah.
Keeping this team together.
Damn, my bad. I was thinking Jawaan was left. Jawan's right. Cam's left. I got it right. Sorry, my bad.
Chris, you met Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
When?
In Miami. I did a little thing with him for Unbuttoned when I first got here, with NBC, hung out with him for a day.
Okay.
He was kind of like one of my guys, how I like to do it, like you do now. He was my Robin Hood, or guys that don't get talked about enough that are really awesome players.
Yeah.
And he had been somebody I'd been talking about. So I just was like damn, let's go give one of these, big effers, one of these big left tackles some love. And he was a blast. Had a bad rap coming out of college, right? Because somebody took a picture of them with the mask on, right? It hurt his draft capital and all that. But, yeah, he was awesome. And he is definitely one of the best pass-protecting left tackles in football.
Have you ever met Shaq Mason? The guard Shaq Mason?
No, but they're trying to trade him, right? And
they just released him.
They released
the Buccaneers have released their guard Shaq Mason.
Okay, so not shocking there either.
They will release him, according to reports.
Not shocking.
If they can't trade him. Okay, so,
all right. Yeah,
so nothing has changed.
They kind of, I think, desperately traded for him last year because of the issues they had in the interior part of the offensive line.
Yeah.
And probably, overpaid to a degree to get him from the New England Patriots. But, yeah, just, a guy that's good player, but it's fallen off a little bit ever since he signed his contract with the Patriots a few years ago.
Adrian in our chat goes, this just in. Aaron Rodgers has a last name that ends in the letter S.
Yes, it does.
Is true. That is true.
Yes, it does.
It's not just this in, and we've known that for a little while.
A little while.
All right, so I think we're
that's
kind of
big time.
The news is kind of coming to a slow trickle at this point. They knew that we go about an hour and a half, maybe sometimes an hour and 40.
Yep.
This has been interesting because I don't know that we knew that there would be some movement, but this was a free agent class that I think people think is not quite as good. Teams are being a little more proactive in locking up players before they become free agents that they want to keep. But
it's not the sexiest free agent class.
I wanted to ask you this.
Right.
So do you think that teams can make a bigger impact and can improve their team more through free agency, through trades like we've seen in years past, and now this year with the Dolphins again? They did it last year with Tyreek Hill, or through the draft? Like, where is the biggest impact of going from a mid-tier team to a top team?
Yeah, I mean,
and there are exceptions, right? You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it both. I think the best combination is free agency and the draft. I mean, I am one that you want to draft and develop. That's the number one thing if you want to balance the checkbook the right way, right? But that combination of free agency and the draft, that working together, and then I'm more of a looking of trades are more of wait, we're desperate, or wait, this puts us over the mark of we've gone from maybe we'll make the playoffs to one of the best teams in the playoffs, right?
Right.
That's kind of why I look at it. But I think in the long run, and I think when you look at a lot of the successful teams in football, there's more edge towards draft and develop that way. Yeah. I think you see more of that than anything else, and then try to fill in the pieces with free agents, here and there.
Well, the Raiders are hoping that their new free agent quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, can take them to a next level, a playoff level. And I don't know if you've heard this story. There's a Twitter user in the Bay Area. I don't know if she's in the Bay Area. I think she is. 49er fan for sure, who has been drawing a picture of Jimmy Garoppolo until he is no longer on the team. And so it seemed like this was going to end a long time ago. Rita Oak is her name, and she is drawing now the last one, day 404, which is appropriate, right? Isn't that like the 404 error on the internet when you it's not working anymore? Well, Jimmy G is no longer working for the 49ers. His last day, and she has posted the last picture with a bunch of quotes out there about Jimmy G, who's down on his knees in the rain. That's probably from a movie, a reference that I'm not going to get.
I don't know if I know it either, so don't worry. Even though you...
What? Pete's
down
booing in
the
ear.
rain, on his knees, the hands up. What is it, Pete?
Is that Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, it's Shawshank.
Okay.
Damn, I would not have gotten that right there. I would not have gotten that.
Our commenters are going to be crushing you and me now. I'm used to that,
Shawshank
not
is
knowing
one
my
of those
movies.
where anytime it's on TV, I have to stop to see what part it's at, right? Because there's 4 or 5 parts where you haven't seen that movie, right?
I have seen Shawshank.
You have seen
Yeah, I did see it a few years ago.
You've seen that one. But I always have to check it out, see where it's at.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of those type of movies.
Oh, we do have a comment from Pete saying, "Homies, please rip Chris and Ahmed for not knowing the Shawshank Redemption." So Pete is eliciting the hate now, which maybe he does under an alias on Twitter now, just to get you riled up for these podcasts.
Well, maybe that is what Pete does. Maybe that's how he's doing me from behind the scenes there.
His Twitter name is Darius Slay. He says.
Well, the other thing, I'm interested with this 49ers thing.
What do you mean?
Well, just with the Javon Hargrave signing, right? Just how I explained it. Are they going to move Armstead? Ebukam's a pass rusher who's a free agent. the pass rushing market, there's no stars on it this year. I think you're going to see some guys get overpaid maybe, right? But with are the 49ers going to keep Hargrave, Armstead, and Javon Kinlaw? That's going to be the interesting thing there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's feasible or possible as I sit here and think about this.
Some new information on what we were talking about just a second ago.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, James Palmer, who I think he works for the NFL Network, correct?
Right.
Yeah, he works for the NFL Network. He tweets.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that the Chiefs are out on Orlando Brown moving forward. That makes sense. But he goes, Jawaan Taylor is expected to play left
So he's
tackle
going to go left
for the Chiefs.
Okay, so there you go. So they have somebody else in mind at right tackle, and now they're going to move him to left. So my original thought was right, even though I got him confused for the second and thought he was at left tackle, but he's a right tackle. But that makes sense. He certainly can do that. And he's got all the measurables and length. He's a lot like Orlando Brown in a lot of ways. Giant guy who came out of the draft where we were a little worried about his foot speed, body a little sloppy, but figured it out, became a professional, and, was damn good. So, and that's another one too where we've talked about this before. Andy Reid's got an eye for offensive linemen. It's one where when he signed you, I go, oh well, he sees something. He's going to be able to totally fix this guy, make him do exactly the way he wants to, and they'll be all set. But yeah, so the Orlando Brown is gone, and obviously Orlando Brown is put himself on a very big price tag as far as what he's expecting at that left tackle position. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we'll see if it works. But the NFL is unique in that the musical chairs fill up very fast in the NFL.
They really
you can
do.
Get squeezed out. Even some of the premier guys, right? It's like if teams run out of money, they run out of money, and then teams at the bottom that maybe have a lot of cap room are like offensive tackle is not going to be the missing piece for us.
No. Yeah, by the way it looks at us all right now, he's obviously put an expense. We have some teams that are in free agency that have money that need tackles.
Yeah.
The Bears being another one of them. But the price must be big, right? To where everybody's like, wait, I'm not sure. Let's see what other options are out there. Let's see if we can get something done first before we give that type of money. So that's where it'll be cool to see if the Bears make any other moves here at the offensive line position before the day's over in the next 24 hours.
I'm very proud of us. We've gone like an hour and 26 minutes, and only I would say 4 minutes have been spent on Aaron Rodgers, which I feel like is the main story on a lot of the other outlets out there. But I will say this, and he obviously is another big shoe to drop. Is there a chance, and Pete wonders this too, that the Jets know, the Packers know, and we just don't know yet? Like, this is a done deal moving forward for the most part. It's just got to –
I think it's –
I's dotted, T's crossed.
Yeah, I think they probably – I bet you I think that's all done. I would think that within how deep these conversations have gone, that they've already addressed the parameters of the trade, right? And now it's just waiting on Rodgers to make the decision. But I would think they've gotten far enough. Like you said, maybe there's a few minor dot the T, but the meat and potatoes of the deal is worked out. And, to add all of this too, again, I don't think this, don't be shocked. I don't think this is going to be some crazy, trade package. Again, I'll be interested to see if some of his friends come with him. But I don't think the Jets are going to have to send, big time picks here. This is, again, we're at a place here where the Packers have stated they're done. They'd like to move on. So they can't sit there and hold the Jets' feet to the fire for every, last asset in the world, right? So it seems like both teams want to make this work. And, yeah, I'd be shocked. I really thought we were going to hear about Rodgers on Friday or Saturday of last week. I would think we're going to hear it at least by Wednesday. But, it's Jets or retire, in my opinion.
It's going to be a third-round pick. You're going to tweet out he's, not one of the top quarterbacks out there anymore, but could move to safety, and you're going to get crushed for it. It's going to be all over again.
Now I got to make a decision on whether I want to engage with Quandre Diggs and Darius Slay on Twitter. That's what I have to make my next decision. That'll be my next big decision of the day.
Take it off Twitter.
Okay.
I feel like no one wins on Twitter,
you're right?
If there's a way to pull them and put them onto the podcast, right? We'll battle on different turf. Battling on Twitter turf, no one wins. Everyone
right.
loses.
It's hard to add context to Twitter arguments or really explain yourself the proper way.
You can cherry pick the worst part of someone else's argument. Yeah, you don't want to do it on Twitter. If they want to come on the pod, they're more than welcome to do that. We would love to have them. And it would probably be a great conversation, and I bet you guys would end up agreeing more than you disagreed by the end of it.
Yeah, probably. I know. It's the way it is. You're right. Twitter is annoying that way.
All right, so Pete, I mean, is this? I kind of don't want to let this end, but
I know.
I feel
fun
like
doing this, but we're kind of in a stalemate of news right now, right?
This is a perfect time to end it, I think.
You know, I'm interested to see if, like, for me personally, the G-men, I want to see if they're going to make a move at, one of these receivers over the next day or two. Anything there?
Yeah.
Anybody they're going to make a splash with? The Jets, Lamar, all that's a great conversation. The Orlando Brown thing we talked about.
Well, we'll be back here on Wednesday,
I know,
too.
so we'll be able to unpack all of this, right.
We'll be back. We just won't be live, but who knows? Maybe we will be, Pete. Maybe this is our new reality. Maybe this is our new world right here.
I kind of enjoyed it. I did.
But you couldn't swear,
I hope we did okay. I mean, I had a few hiccups. What's that?
You couldn't swear.
I know. I couldn't say the F words. I got to shit out here and there. They told me, my bosses told me not to say too many F words on this one, so I said, okay, I'll do my best not to do that.
Yeah.
I did all right. I almost came out with one.
This is what Alex Correa in our chat has said. The Jets will grab Lamar and shock everyone. Rodgers to the Ravens.
Well, what's scary right now is, the Jets are going to be cornered. Like, where are they going?
No backup Jimmy G.
If they don't get Rodgers.
Yeah.
Right. Where are they going to go?
Zach Wilson to come back.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's where Lamar will get, he'll get lucky and he'll get some weird dysfunctional situation, kind of like Deshaun Watson got, and get paid that way. So that's pretty. What was so far? What was the shock signing for you?
For me?
Yeah, anything out there?
I mean,
Javon Hargrave, right? That was the shocker.
Right off the top of our show, basically.
Because I don't know what to make of it. Yeah. I don't. There's a part of me that goes like, are they not happy with Javon Kinlaw? He was a little injured last year. He hasn't lived up maybe to the, what was he, the number 12 pick in the draft billing? Yeah. So I was surprised. Or are they just going like, hey, screw you. We're just going to have so many good D linemen. It doesn't matter. But again, that type of money, Eric Armstead, and then they're going to pay Nick Bosa this offseason at some point. I'd just be interested to kind of see what they go there, or if we start to hear that like Javon Kinlaw's on the trade block here at some point today. It's as things settle down.
I think Broncos are beefing up their offensive line, although I should not have been surprised because you've been talking about that for a month and a half now. That's one of the first things that Sean Payton would do. I think Jarrett Stidham going to the Broncos. Broncos active today.
Broncos made some
good
moves.
Day.
Definitely. And put it out there that they're willing to trade these receivers, right? So that's true. That is a big move.
Salmon Jets 718 says, are those paid actors in the back? So behind us,
nope,
no one's here right now.
Those are what those people would probably tell you is they're underpaid workers here at NBC. They probably got, we're being paid, but not as much as we'd like.
And they're the workers that we work with, and not that nothing against anyone that doesn't want to walk back there, but they're the ones with courage, right? They're like, you know what? I know they're doing their pod right now, but I got to get from point A to point B.
We got so many people that avoid this walk down because they're afraid I'm going to call them out, like I'm doing right now.
And now these.
But look, they handle it like pros.
Fine women right here that I've worked with many, many times in our research department will never now walk by again during a live
we've scarred
podcast.
them. They're going to take the upward
them.
route now from now
on.
I
applaud the courage.
That's
I applaud the
fault.
courage, though.
It's Ahmed's fault. All right.
That's my fault. I got to say, everything is. Usually is. All right. We are done.
Let's stay after it.
I want to say one more thing, though, because while we're all talking all this football stuff, I'm a baseball guy, too.
Ooh.
I want you to remember that. Now, we're starting our baseball Peacock Sunday leadoff coming up here.
How many weeks? 2, 3 weeks? What do we got
April
here?
23rd. So we still got like a month.
All
but we're going to be on the road for like 19 weekends out of the year.
Wow.
So I'm pumped about that. It is the new MLB season. New rules, new stars. So you got to pair it with the Roto World Baseball Draft Guide. Get all the player profiles, rankings, and projections to dominate your league. Go to NBCSportsEdge.com/draft guide. Use Pennant25. You can save 25% at checkout. So baseball season's coming up.
Baseball.
Free agency season in the NFL.
Yes.
Good time to be alive.
Good time to be alive. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. We will be mainly Tuesdays and Thursdays in the offseason. This week we're going Monday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Right? But next week I think we start going Tuesday, Thursday
consistently.
consistently.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Pete, is that true? Are we going Tuesdays, Thursdays?
Okay, on Monday and
He says
Wednesday.
Monday,
Damn,
Wednesday.
I
Well,
I don't know where I thought I saw those dates when I measured it out, and obviously I don't read so well. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong in that department. But you know where to find us. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Ahmed and I will be here all year long, continuing to break down stories, news, draft, all of that. Check us out at PFT. Florio and I every morning, 7 a.m. streaming live on Peacock. There's another rerun of the show from 1 to 3 Eastern. And, of course, you can go on Peacock at any point and just find the show and play the latest version that's available, and you can watch it from there. But Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio, Chris Sims Unbuttoned here with me and Ahmed, and then Ahmed with baseball. Okay, baseball starting soon. And what are you pointing at? You get me excited.
Connor Easterday says
he wants to clap it up.
Clap it up.
Clap it up. All right, we'll do that. Okay, wait. I'm seeing Bates. A lot of Bates in the comments. Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates.
See, you're getting
see, what's going to happen
now.
here is we're going to get off air and something big's going to break, and I'm going, damn, we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
But Alex, you're right. It's time. All right, here we go. We'll see you Wednesday. Stay in tuned with us.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. Clap it up.
Clap it up.